Thank you for joining us again. This program is called Burn Your Business Plan and Execute Like Your Life Depends on It. So this program I put together because over the last 10 years or so, I have interviewed more than 450 super high producing people in all different fields. And for anybody that doesn't know why I originally started doing that is roughly 10 years ago, I had read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So Napoleon Hill in the early 1900s had gone out and interviewed all kinds of high level business owners and CEOs like the Fords, the Carnegies, and basically what he was trying to figure out is what causes some people to have massive amounts of success in their business and life while other people struggle. And so Napoleon Hill spent his entire career basically interviewing some of the coolest people in the world to say what makes somebody like go to the very top of their industry. So after I had read that book, and by the way, it's one of my top 5 favorite books. I read for 1 hour every single day. It's time blocked into my schedule, and still that's the one book, Think and Grow Rich, that I refer back. I read it usually every year because I will pull little pieces out of it. After I read that book, I decided that I was going to go out and start interviewing people too, because maybe things look different today than they did in the 1930s. So I went out, I started a mission. I said, I'm going to go out and interview 500 of today's movers and shakers and find out what they do to climb to the highest levels of success in their business. And from that, I put together this PowerPoint, like what makes super high achievers different than everybody else, because I think it's something that we can use even if we're running a real estate firm or individual real estate sales business. We all have opportunities to excel further from where we are today. So I definitely am an advocate of business plans in general for real estate agents. I think it's a good idea to write down and have a plan as to where you're going. But interestingly, when I interviewed some of the highest achieving people in the world, many of them, when they first started, did not have a concrete plan about how they were going. And the big thing that I noticed right off the bat that made some of those high achievers different than everybody else is that they were unbelievable executors. So today I'm going to talk about the 10 best kept secrets to building a massive empire, because anybody in real estate, this is what we're doing. We're all in the business of building our own little empires and finding success. So the first secret, and I have already started alluding to it, is that knowledge is not power, action is power. So the reason this is so important is because, especially if you're attending this class or watching it on YouTube, the fact that you attend training classes will not get you very far. What will get you far is your ability to take something from each class and do something with it. The knowledge will get you nowhere. The action will get you somewhere. And the difference between super high achievers and everybody else is super high achievers act. They act, they act, they act. They take one little thing and they will act on it. And what's really interesting, especially in the real estate business, is there's 1,000 different ways to be successful in real estate. You just have to be extremely good at one of them. I mentioned in an earlier class about Charlie Doyle, who was a brand new agent for me 20 years ago, and how in his first year of real estate, he made over $250,000 because he was phenomenal at open houses. That was his one thing. He wasn't out doing the 10,000 other things you can do to be successful in real estate. He was good at the one thing, which was open houses, and he executed that better than anybody else. We have agents at our company that are phenomenal at converting Zillow leads. So all they do all day long is they convert. So the whole point about this is that be phenomenal at taking action each day somehow. doing something, because we live very busy lives. It is extremely easy to get caught up in thinking about doing all the stuff that we have to do, that in reality nothing gets done. And sadly, what I'll say is that sometimes you see people that take hundreds of classes, they attend every class out there, and yet they never seem to advance in their business or their life. And those are people that like absorb all this awesome knowledge and they almost get paralyzed by it, that they never actually do anything with it. So understand that knowledge is not power, but action is. This is really cool visual. Think about this, and let's just say we could put a price on a good idea. That the price of a brilliant idea is $200. And then we're going to put a price on a really bad idea. The price of a very bad idea is $1. So you have the brilliant idea is worth $200 and the awful idea is worth $1. Then we're going to say that what really matters more than the idea is our ability to execute. So if we're really poor at executing, then we can times our idea by 1. But if we're brilliant at executing, then we can times our idea by 10 million. So the way to look at this is that if you have a brilliant idea, but you're poor at executing, then you can take your $200 idea, times it by 1, because you didn't have the ability to execute it, and now you're still worth only $200, that brilliant idea. On the other hand, if you could take a weak idea, not even that good of an idea, but you're brilliant at executing on that idea, then you could times it by 10 million. So now your weak idea, it's not even that great of an idea, but you're so brilliant at executing that idea that now you've got something that's worth millions of dollars. And this applies to our everyday lives. It shows you that what matters more than your knowledge or your great ideas is that when it comes to building an empire, that your ability to execute is going to be more important than what you're executing on. You can tweak how the little things that you're executing, but be a phenomenal executor. And we see examples of this all of the time. I saw a story recently on the guy that invented, if you've ever seen like on, especially like kids TV programs, there's a thing that blows up like 100 water balloons at once, that you just stick the thing on a hose and turn the water on, and now you've got 100 water balloons. Well, that guy's a multi-millionaire. Here was some stupid idea that was phenomenally executed, that the guy is a multi-millionaire. But all day long, there's people out there with unbelievable ideas that will change the world, and they're so poor at executing that we're never going to know who they are or what they did. So think about that, because success in our business and our lives is not about ideas and knowledge. Success is about execution. So be a phenomenal executor, and you will always achieve whatever dream you're setting out for. And that's why I talk a little bit about business plans. Of course, having an idea of where you're going is always a good idea. But just having a business plan means that you've got all these great ideas about where you're going, but if you are not phenomenal at executing some of those ideas, that business plan is pretty much worthless. Number 2, sucks. Superior, unexpected customer service. So in interviewing all these people and from all different industries, what I did notice is that the ones that tend to climb higher are the ones that can achieve this somehow. That they provide superior customer service. Not only is it superior, it is unexpected. And that gets harder and harder to do in this day and age, because people have high levels of expectation of what they expect when they're out shopping or working with a real estate agent. But if you can be the one that provides superior, unexpected customer service, that's what creates a raving fan. That is what makes it so that you have top of mind awareness. People don't forget about you. So what is it that our clients are looking for? They want somebody that cherishes their customer. They want a happy real estate agent. What our people want is somebody that answers the phone. And I always challenge real estate agents, if you want to see why some people don't thrive in this business, if you call 100 agents in the next hour, literally 5 of them will answer the phone. And typically the 5 that answer the phone, regardless of who calls, they are typically the ones that are earning high level of income. What our customers expect is that we respond immediately and that we have a great marketing presentation. So think about, that's not unexpected. This is the stuff our people expect. That we cherish them, we're happy, we answer the phone when they call, we respond quickly if they have an issue, and that we can pull off a great marketing presentation. That's at a minimum what people are expecting. So how do we even rise above that? Because our ability to achieve high level of success will come down to our ability to rise above the noise. So there are millions of real estate agents to choose from. Why should anyone choose you? Well, that's going to require that you polarize an army. You have to get an army of people that are as committed to your success as you are. One of the ways to do that is if you can arouse emotion out of people. Like, you want people to realize that you're here to fight and win in your business, and you want people to organize around that, and you need to be unconventional. So think about the things that you can do to achieve all those things. I will say in my business, even as just a real estate entrepreneur, one of the ways that I've polarized an army of people to be around me in different industries is by going out and interviewing people. So just the fact that I go out each week and find somebody new to interview, complete strangers who don't know me from a hole in the wall, shows that it's not that difficult to create an army of people. One of the little teeny things you can do to separate yourself from every other person on this planet is to go out and listen to people. Because we live in a world with so much technology and fake relationships on social media that you think people are your friends just because you're a Facebook friend, it means nothing. But if you can be the person that goes out and makes a human connection with somebody, has a real conversation with somebody, really listens to where somebody came from and what their story is all about, it's not long before you will polarize an army of people who are committed to helping you with whatever your dream is. So think about that. And the piece with my doing the interviews with people is it's also unconventional. So it's something that nobody else is doing. So as you're thinking about how you're going to attain high levels of success, the first piece I want you to think about is, what is the minimum that people expect from you as your own business owner, as a salesperson? What can you do to rise above that, to be better than, so you can provide the unexpected customer service? And then what can you do to create an army, stand out, and just go out and, in your own way, listen to people and build relationships with people? The next piece, in having interviewed hundreds of people, is that super high achievers think about time differently than the rest of us do. They have a very unique perspective on time. So what they think about time is that time is deathly scarce, while money is abundant. And many of us have the very opposite view, that money is scarce, but we've got all this time. But the highest achievers in the world realize that time is the piece that we're running out of, but there's so much money and it's all at our fingertips. On any given day, $3 trillion is exchanged in the world currency markets. So if you spent $1 million a day for 8,000 years, you could not spend $3 trillion. It would take you 109 lifetimes to quantify the total currency trading volume that exists in one day right now. Money is abundant and will be abundant as long as the world's governments continue to print more. There is more than enough money in the world. What we lack is time. Now, The difference between high achievers and many of the rest of us and the way they think about time is that they realize that there is a connection between money spent and the number of hours that they have in a day. So what that means is that if money is spent improperly, it takes away your time. So think about this, that if you go out and take on debt for stuff that you don't need, then that debt means that you must give up a piece of your time because you're going to have to spend time going out and earning income to pay for that debt. So when they look at things, investments, they try to make investments so that those investments create income regardless of the number of hours that are available in a day. So in all of our lifetimes, we have both free time and indentured time. Indentured time is the number of hours. Many of us cannot retire today because we have debt. So think about that in your own life. What is the indentured time that says, you know what, I can't 100% choose what I'm going to do today. I can't just decide I'm going to fly to a Caribbean island and retire because I have bills I got to pay for. So those bills are the indentured time. But what if you could wisely use your money to create more time for yourself? And let's talk about how we create the free time. So one thing to think about is there's different types of debt in the world. One type of debt is parasitic debt. The parasitic debt is the debt that is causing more indentured time. That is the debt that we take on that makes it so that you can't just do whatever you want on a daily basis. It could be your mortgage. You have a high mortgage, means I got to get up and hustle every single day. I got a big car payment, I got to get up and hustle every day. Fancy clothes, anything that I go out and spend and splurge for, potentially that's causing it so that I don't get to choose what I do with my time on a daily basis. Next time you buy some fancy gadget on credit, I just want you to understand what exactly you are buying. You are buying parasitic debt that eats your free time and it excretes it into indentured time. So one of the how do we make it so that we don't have this parasitic debt? I always compare it, I call it the law of the chocolate, or the Chips Ahoy cookie. So if I am going to the food store, I will tell you that if I buy Chips Ahoy cookies and they end up in my carriage, then they will end up in my stomach. That is what I know. So why would I even put those in my carriage? So by going out into the world, realizing the effect that a decision might not have today, but the effect that our decisions have a year from now or 5 years from now. So by taking on a car loan or a high mortgage payment or a high rent payment, realizing the effect of that over time. What is it that I'm not going to be able to do in the future because of a decision that I'm making today? Now, interesting, there are things we can invest in that create more free time for us. So the way high achievers think is that they always want to be investing in stuff that will create more free time. Real estate investments, so if you own multifamily units, that's income that could be coming into you while you're sitting on the Caribbean island. Buying stock, creating a business system, you building a business team, a real estate team that's working for you with other agents contributing to your business. All of those are creating income, and even if it causes some sort of investment you have to make, it's also creating income so that you can have more free time. The next piece is education. One thing that high achievers look at differently than most people is education. So, for example, they look at every day as an opportunity. Every moment is an opportunity to be learning something. I recently read this great book called Mindset by Carolyn Dweck, and basically the book is all about how everybody in the world, at times of our lives, we have a growth mindset, and at other times we have a fixed mindset. A growth mindset means that I understand that I can be and do and have anything. I'm going to have to work for it. I might not understand how to do it today, but I know that if I put the effort in to learn it, that I will eventually have a result. A fixed mindset is somebody that says, well, I could never be a $30 million real estate agent. It's not my blood. I don't have the skills it takes. Or I could never learn a second language. I don't have the skills it takes. Or I could never learn a musical instrument because I don't have the skills it takes. That is a fixed mindset, and it does not get you far in life. The highest achieving people have a growth mindset, and because of that growth mindset, they are always learning. That means when they are driving, they're listening to books and learning. They look for opportunities to learn out in the world today. Instead of watching TV, they're watching something to learn from it. So they look at always finding opportunities to learn. So it might be going to school, it might be listening to books. And third, what they look at is that every failure they have is just a class. It's just an opportunity for them to learn something. Remember some of the greatest failures in the world: Albert Einstein, Michael Jordan, like Walt Disney, Steve Jobs, Oprah Winfrey, the Beatles. Some of these people had like the biggest failures, greater failures than we could ever imagine. And just imagine if they felt that their failure was the end for them and they crawled under a rock and never became anything. Instead, all of these people looked at failure as an opportunity to grow and to go do more and better things. So think about that for your business and life. Like, what are you willing to do to have the life you want? What kind of failures are you willing to put up with? Are you willing to take risks? Are you willing to ask for what you want out in the world? And are you willing to expose yourself to rejection? By taking calculated risks, things start to happen. By taking calculated risks, you meet new people, new opportunities arise. You'll start having lucky breaks in life. They're really not lucky. It's the fact that you started taking calculated risks. And then I always say that for any of us that say, well, someday I'm going to do this, well, forget someday, because someday might never happen. Start today. Remember what we said about execution. The next piece is about headwinds versus tailwinds. So another important shift I learned from speaking with some of the highest producing achievers in the world is that they are very cognizant about who they surround themselves with. So if you think about when you're flying in an airplane, you have, sometimes you have a tailwind behind you. The tailwind makes it so you get to your destination way faster because there's this wind pushing you. The headwind, on the other hand, means that there's delays, you fly in later than you expected. And what's interesting about studying high performers is that they evaluate people this way. They say, you know what, I can surround myself with people that are tailwinds. They're going to push me to my destination faster. Or I can surround myself with people that are going to be headwinds that hold me back. So think about that. The people you associate with will have a great effect on your ability to achieve whatever your big dreams are. The next piece I learned from talking with and studying and interviewing high performers is that many of them chase needs, not money. And that's what we should be doing in real estate every day. We're not out for a paycheck. We're out to help people. You and your business attract money when you stop being selfish and turn your business focus from the needs of yourself to the needs of other people. Give first and take second. This is important because when you see some of our other classes like Matt McLaughlin, who is a phenomenal cold caller, he's out calling people, knocking on doors. Oftentimes real estate agents say, well, I can't cold call people or I can't door knock people because I don't want to be a nuisance to people. Like, I don't want to bug people. Now, when you think in that mindset, it is selfish because you are thinking about what you get out of it. But what if you realized the value you bring to other people? Like every time he picks up the phone, he's helping people. And what he's providing to them, or when he door knocks on somebody's house, that he's providing true value, that somebody gets the opportunity to work with an unbelievable, well-skilled real estate agent like him versus a fly-by-night real estate company. So think of everything you do, not in terms of how much money you make from a transaction, but all of the people that you get to help. Those who have a mindset that they're helping the world have no problem asking for business, because you realize every time you ask for business, you're making a contribution to the world. They understand they're offering value to everyone they touch, and oftentimes these people end up making the most money because their proper mindset about the value they offer to the world enables them to knock on the door of opportunity every day. High-level producers look at money. High achievers, like, to them, money is just a scorecard to say that they're heading in the right direction. They don't work for the money ever. It's just kind of like the tally at the end of the day so that they know they're doing a good job. The other piece that I noticed in interviewing high-level achievers is that they always straddle. In other words, even though they're executing on one opportunity, they're always straddling on a second or third or fifth or 100th opportunity. So don't be so focused that you miss other opportunities. Every business that we are in, everything has a life cycle to success. So be open to understanding and exploring and listening to other opportunities that come your way. There's literally opportunity everywhere. So just because you're working with a great client right now or 5 great clients doesn't mean you can't go get 5 more. Always be open. Like as you're driving down the street, know when opportunity is trying to tap you on the forehead. So, for example, a great story I have is 2 years ago, I had an agent in my Dracut office who was telling me how awful the market was and there was no business out there. Yet 2 doors down from our office was a house with a for sale by owner sign on it. And I said, how can she not see that there's opportunity literally right in front of her? So be open to seeing opportunity. And then one piece that is super important that I hope everybody takes away from the program is super high achievers are very good. They are comfortable at being uncomfortable. So in order to achieve high levels of success, you will absolutely, on a regular basis, have to do stuff you don't feel like doing. And you will have to do stuff that makes you uncomfortable. And I will say that I start to get uncomfortable when I'm not doing uncomfortable things, because I know that I'm slowly dying and my business is moving backwards when there are several days that go by where I'm not doing uncomfortable things. So look for opportunities to get uncomfortable. So that's why I say to agents, go outside your comfort zone. That's why what's so interesting is you'll see super high achievers do uncomfortable things that are even outside their business. So for me personally, one of the things I compared it to is running the marathon, which I've done twice now. And so last year I ran the marathon. I only had 8 weeks to train for it. I did it for a charity that is near to my heart, and the people asked me specifically to be on their team to raise money and to run the Boston Marathon. And the reason I said yes to it is because I said, if I can do that hard thing, then I can do other hard things. So always look for opportunities to do the hard things in your life, in your business, because even if it does not create wealth or income or opportunity in that little segment of your life, it is proof to you that you are an amazing person and that anything is possible for you. So always look for ways to get outside your comfort zone. And then habits. So high producing, high achieving people have phenomenal habits. Many of them wake up early. They have some sort of habits they do on a daily basis. So if you are at a spot in your life where you feel like you could be doing better, then really evaluate your habits. I will say that I forever was a person that would go to bed at 2 in the morning, and I liked to sleep late. I hated waking up early, and now I don't even have an alarm clock, and I wake up at 4:30 every single day. 5 days a week, I go to a yoga class. 1 hour a day, every single day, I read a book. Think about the things in your life that will have a snowball effect on your life. One of the most important things I do is read every day. Like the snowball effect of reading for 1 hour a day, I've been to business school, I've been to law school, and even what's been more important than any of that is I've learned more from just reading books than any school could have ever taught me in my life. But think about the snowball effect. That one little thing, 1 hour a day of reading something positive, the snowball effect on your life. So think about that. What are the tiny little habits that if you could just dedicate 1 hour a day? Health, mental, like what are the little things that could make a massive impact so that your life doesn't look the same 1 year from now, and it certainly doesn't look anywhere the same 5 years or 10 years from now. And then high performers also always realize that when somebody says no, it really means yes, I'll do it later. So I compare this a lot. I do a lot of recruiting in my business, and I have so many stories of real estate agents who, for years and years and years, I would call them every 3 months and they say, no, I'm not moving. And one great example is Michael Durkin, who's a high performing agent at our company. Literally, I called on him for 5 years and he said, no, I will never work at your company. I love my company. I'm never leaving my company. And I'd say, okay, I'll call you in 3 months. Now imagine if I had taken no for an answer. I just said, okay, no worries, I'll call you again in 3 months. And then one day he called me and he said, do you still want me? And I said, yes. And he said, great, because I'm moving over today. I have a moving van coming to the office, and I took 13 other agents with me. So always realize that a no is temporary. If you want it bad enough, yes will always be the end of the result if you are consistently asking for what you want. So that is it on our program on burning the business plan and execute like your life depends on it. Thanks for joining us.